No member will be allowed to go out. Please, please, stay inside. Please stay inside. Thank you so much, honorable members. We do apologize for the disruption that has been caused today. Secretary is trying to deal with that. Interpretation of certain events and processes and how they are supposed to be dealt with. But we will get on with our work at the end of the day. Let me acknowledge the Honorable Premier, the MECs and all honorable members in the House, those that have joined us, the officials that have also joined us today. Let's also acknowledge all those that are joining us on our social networks such as Facebook and YouTube. Ditini kunin molweni nonke. Goeiemôre mense. Good morning, asante. Honorable members, in our presence today, we are having our visitors from the Nairobi City Council County Assembly from Kenya who have joined us in this plenary today. The Assembly is one of 47 state legislatures in Kenya established under Article 176 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. The Assembly, being the legislative arm of the county government, has responsibilities of lawmaking, representation, and undertaking oversight over the county executive to ensure accountability of the county government to the electorate. The Assembly, which was visited on a benchmark exercise by the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature on the budget and money bills processes in 2023, culminating in a statement of intent being signed, has reciprocated the visit to the benchmark on amongst the following areas: the legislative business and committee systems, House business and maintenance of order in the House, my apologies, best practices on follow-up on the implementation of House resolutions and other areas. The delegation is led by the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kennedy Okeya Ngondi. Honorable Speaker, if you can just rise. Honorable Doreen Mugambe, fourth panel member of the Presidium. Honorable Doreen. Honorable Malayan Ali Abdi, first panel member of the Presidium. The Clerk of the Assembly, Mr. Edward Gichana. And then they have a whole array of delegation also from Kenya that is sitting on my left-hand side that is here with us. We have already met with the delegation yesterday for the formal engagements and presentations, and we want to express our appreciation to all members who were part of those engagements. The delegation will stay with us for about a few minutes. We've kept them back just to observe the plenary, and then they will proceed on the day 2 activities. We wish to once again welcome the NCCA delegation to the Eastern Cape, and we hope that their visit has thus far been fruitful. Honorable members, assist me once again in giving the delegation a hearty and warm Eastern Cape welcome. Thank you so much, honorable members. It's indeed wonderful to have the delegation here with us. And for those of you who do not know, if you want to engage the Honorable Speaker, he is a theologian, he is he can take you through any part of the Bible and explain it to you. So if you are up to it, make time with the Honorable Speaker. Mamfanta, you must just have your facts in hand. You must have your facts in hand if you want to engage Honorable Speaker of Nairobi County Assembly. She is very passionate herself about it. Thank you so much. It's always nice to engage the Honorable Speaker. We really learn a lot. Honorable members, let us now go to the notices of motions. We have from the Honorable Chief Whip 2 of them, and then we have Honorable Njoli, we have Honorable Aloni, we have Honorable Kotoi, we have Honorable Everts, we have Honorable Dr. Knutzer, and we have Honorable Mankashle, in that order. I do have a problem with my voice. Honorable Chief Whip, over to you.
Honorable Speaker, greetings to you, greetings to the Premier and the members of the Executive, our guests from Nairobi, as led by the Honorable Speaker, the members of this august house, the guests in the gallery, our support staff, greetings to you. Madam Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules that, despite the provisions of the Standing Rules of Procedure of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, that the House approves the sitting times of the plenaries at 10:38 for the 29th of and the 31st of July, which will be 10 o'clock on the 31st. It is just today where it is 10:38, and then for the 31st, it is 10 o'clock in the morning. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable members, I put the motion without
Agreed.
notice. Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Whip.
Honorable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of 130 that the House notes with profound respect and celebration that the year 2025 marks the 70th anniversary of the Freedom Charter, the adoption of the Freedom Charter on the 26th of June 1955 at the Congress of the People in Kliptown, Johannesburg, one of the most momentous documents in our nation's history, recognizes that the Charter's fundamental principles of equality before the law, the right to vote, land redistribution, free education, health care for all, and the sharing of the country's wealth among all its people laid the foundation for our democratic constitution and continue to guide our transformation agenda. Remembers that the Freedom Charter was adopted at great personal cost to its architects and supporters, many of whom faced persecution, imprisonment, and exile under the apartheid regime, for daring to envision a non-racial, non-sexist, prosperous, and democratic society. Notes with appreciation the significant progress made in the Eastern Cape towards realizing the Charter's vision, including educational transformation, which is evident, amongst others, on our historic 85% matric pass rate in 2024, implementation of the no-fee school policy, school nutrition schemes that feed over 1 million learners daily. Additionally, there is increased access to institutions of higher learning and the establishment of a second medical school at Nelson Mandela University, fulfilling the Charter's promises that the doors of learning and culture shall be open. Economic development through attracting over 200 billion rand in new investment, which will boost the economy and create job opportunities, demonstrating progress towards the Charter's vision of shared prosperity. Our province has also benefited from major infrastructure projects, including the revival of the Mhlaba Airport, the construction and upgrades of healthcare facilities, road networks that do not only connect rural communities, but also connect the province to economic opportunities and the development of renewable energy projects, that the province of the Eastern Cape, that position the Eastern Cape as a player in South Africa's green economy transition. The Charter's vision that there shall be houses, security and comfort has seen substantial progress in the Eastern Cape through the delivery of over 400,000 RDP housing since 1994. The expansion of electricity access to 94.5% of all households and improved access to clean water and sanitation in both urban and rural areas. Acknowledges that while significant progress has been made, challenges remain in fully realizing the Charter's vision, including the need for continued job creation, addressing inequality, and ensuring that economic transformation benefits all communities. Therefore, I move that the House commemorates the 70th anniversary of the Freedom Charter and honors its enduring legacy as the foundational document of our democratic transformation. Reaffirms our commitment to accomplishing the transformation agenda as outlined in the Freedom Charter ensuring that its promises of equality, justice, and shared prosperity become lived realities for all South Africans. Acknowledges the Eastern Cape's significant contribution to realizing the Charter's vision through concrete achievement in education, economic development, housing, and basic service delivery, while recognizing the work that remains. Commits to drawing inspiration from the courage of those who gathered in Kliptown 70 years ago and channeling their determination into addressing contemporary challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Declares that the Freedom Charter remains our North Star, guiding us towards the South Africa envisioned by our forebears, a country that truly belongs to all who lived in it, where democracy, equality, and social justice are not just constitutional principles, but a lived reality for every citizen. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Makashela. Honorable members, I put the motion without notice. Thank you, honorable members. I now move to Honorable Njoli. It's Njoli.
I rise to move a notice of motion in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules that this House notes with shock and deep concern the disturbing incident at Osborne Senior Secondary School in Mount Frey in the Alfred Nzo district, where a learner was severely assaulted by a teacher and the principal for not having money for a school trip. This House must note that in Section 10 of South African Schools Act of 1996, it prohibits corporal punishment in schools. Further notes that the child suffered horrific injuries to the hands. There are widely circulated images, and that this is not the isolated incident. Many other learners have come forward bearing similar marks and reporting that they too were beaten. Basically, our children are simply beaten up for being poor and for being too poor to afford a school trip, and there are no consequences. House must acknowledge that the pain and the outrage of the family, the school community, and the former learners who have raised long-standing complaints against the same individuals and others in the same school. Notes with alarm that the teacher involved remains unremorseful, and the report suggests that the school tried to hide the abuse from the departmental investigators who had begun preliminary investigations. Calls on the Eastern Cape Department of Education to immediately suspend both the principal and the teacher and to open criminal cases within 24 hours with proof thereof shared publicly. Further calls for an independent, urgent investigation into patterns of abuse at Osborne Senior Secondary School, ensuring that no learner remains at the mercy of violent adults in positions of power. Speaker, we cannot raise broken children. Schools must be places of learning, not violence. Poverty is not a crime. No child deserves to be punished for it. I so move.
Thank you so much, honorable member. Honorable member, on record, your motion is in terms of Rule 131. Therefore, it will be noted and debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1.
Noted,
I hope
Speaker.
you have noted that. Thank you so much, honorable member. We will now move to Honorable Aloni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the EFF battalion led by Commissar Vena in absentia, the honorable members, the Nairobi delegation.
Honorable member, can you just speak up? I can barely hear you from where I'm sitting.
Okay, people in the gallery and support staff. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a notice of motion in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature. This House notes and debate our deep concern over the continued failure by the Eastern Cape Department of Human Settlement and East Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality Regional Office to honor payment claims due to Mhlaba construction, now totaling over 4.1 million. Despite formal correspondence, in-person engagements, and escalation of the Premier's office and Provincial Treasurer as far back as 2023, payment claims remain unpaid, with no clear response or accountability from the department. This failure is not just a matter of outstanding invoices, Honorable Speaker, as it has led to the forced sale of assets, loss of livelihoods, and irreversible reputation and financial damage to the affected contractors. Whereas still recent communication dated 4 and 5th of June 2025 requesting urgent intervention has been met with silence, despite a 48-hour deadline for response. It is unacceptable for a government entity to operate with such impunity, particularly when livelihoods of our people are at stake. I therefore move that this House calls for immediate payment for all verified outstanding claims within the next 7 working days. A full investigation into the delays, mismanagement, and possible negligence by officials involved. Consequences for all those responsible, including disciplinary and legal action where warranted. That the Department of Human Settlement open a criminal case where financial misconduct or deliberate sabotage is suspected, and report back to this House within 14 days. We cannot allow small contractors to be crippled by a government that claims to support transformation but practices exploitation. We must demand justice, accountability, and action. I so move. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Laloni. We will note the motion. It will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. We now move over to Honorable Kotoy.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a notice of motion in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules of Procedure, that the House must note and debate in the House. The Eastern Cape Province is one of the provinces that faces the challenge of being prone to severe floods and storms due to the climate change and environmental mismanagement. Most recently, many lives were lost on account of floods that hit hard the King Sabata Talingebo municipality. In 2023, the Chris Hani District Municipality, the Great Kai Municipality, and the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan Municipality were hit hard by floods, and one of the factors that exacerbated the impact of the floods was storm drains that were not fully functional. Concerning the Chris Hani District Municipality, on 12 February 2023, the Sakisizwe local municipality was hit by severe flooding, and the situation was worsened by the fact that the storm drains were not properly maintained. This was despite the fact that Dr. Fani Ngapai, a community activist in Cala, had over a period of 23 years before the day of the disaster raised the issue of storm drains in every integrated development plan meeting of Sakisizwe municipality, and implored the municipality to ensure that the storm drains are cleaned regularly. The other areas that were affected in Chris Hani district included Komani and the Jokabi. In 2023, there were 54 households in Umkha that were severely affected by the floods. The residents attributed the extensive damage caused by the floods to the fact that the Great Kai municipality failed to properly maintain the drainage system. During 2023, the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan Municipality was hit hard by floods, and areas which included Motherwell, New Brighton, KwaZekhele, Edongeni, Airport Valley, and Red Location were severely affected. This resulted in some cases children not being able to go to school. Once again, the common denominator was the fact that the drains were not being maintained properly. The Nelson Mandela Metropolitan Municipality was also hit by floods which resulted in the unfortunate loss of lives in 2024. The South African National Defence Force plays a crucial role in disaster management through providing rapid response and relief in cases of natural disasters, such as floods and storms. The Defence Force can assist in evacuation of people from the affected areas. The South African National Defence Force OREX AS-32 helicopter, which is a medium utility aircraft essential for the rescue mission, was not deployed during the recent floods disaster, and this was mainly due to shortage of flight engineers. Had it been deployed, many lives could have been saved. In addition, the province is under-resourced when it comes to dealing with disasters, and that there is a need for localized emergency services, particularly diving units and helicopters. There's only one helicopter that services the entire province, and that single helicopter is stationed in Gqeberha and cannot get out when the weather is bad. Is there any concrete plan to address this state of affairs? Therefore, I move that this House consider adopting the proactive strategy that is comprehensive, inclusive of all relevant stakeholders. Take cognizance of the fact that global warming phenomenon and its consequences like floods and storms leaves the province with no choice but to adopt a proactive as opposed to a reactive strategy in order to ensure that in future loss of lives and displacements of communities is averted. Aligns itself with the EFF in being apprised of the extent to which the municipality in the Eastern Cape are maintaining the storm drains in order to avert floods disasters during the rainy seasons. Also, the EFF would like to be apprised of the extent to which municipalities in the province are including the issue of storm drains in their integrated development plans. Note that it is our view that there must be a comprehensive emergency preparedness plan for the future disasters like storms and floods so that the loss of lives on the large scale is prevented and mitigated. Acknowledge the importance of having in place a strategy that will ensure that the challenges relating to shortage of flight engineers are addressed in order to ensure that disasters strike in future. The SANDF is a position to assist. I so move.
Thank you so much, honorable members. The motion is noted and it will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. We now move over to Honorable Evers.
Honorable Speaker, I hereby move a notice of motion in terms of Rule 131, subsection 1 of the Standing Rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature that this House notes that in May this year, the National Department of Social Development revealed that over 26,000 child abuse and neglect were reported in the 2024-2025 financial year. That the Department of Social Development is responsible as part of the Children's Act number 38 of 2005 to maintain a register of individuals who are not suitable to work with children. That the purpose of Part B of the National Child Protection Register, as stated in Section 118 of the Children's Act, is to protect children in general against abuse from found unsuitable to work with children, persons found unsuitable to work with children. That in response to a parliamentary question, the MEC for Social Development has revealed that for the financial year of 2023-2024 and 2024-2025, only one person has been added to the National Child Protection Register. That when compared to the high levels of abuse reported against children in society and schools, the department apparent inaction in maintaining the National Child Protection Register for the 2 years has placed the lives of our children in grave danger. Therefore, the House resolves that the MEC for Social Development, in collaboration with the South African Police Service and the National Prosecuting Authority, must conduct a review of child abuse and sexual offences cases reported over the 2023, 2024, and 2024-2025 financial years to identify cases where formal findings of unsuitable persons to work with children should be submitted to the National Child Protection Register. That the MEC for Social Development must strengthen coordination with the South African Police Service and the Department of Education to ensure that cases of child abuse and misconduct are referred to appropriate disciplinary or judicial forums, and that any findings of unsuitability to work with children are submitted to the National Child Protection Register in accordance with Section 120 of the Children's Act. That all social workers in the province receive regular compliance trainings on their legal obligations under Section 110 of the Children's Act, which mandates the immediate reporting of suspended child abuse or neglect, a designated child protection organization, the Department of Social Development, or the South African Police Service. That the Department of Social Development strengthened internal case management systems to ensure that all qualifying disciplinary and court findings of unsuitability to work with children are accurately tracked, and that these findings are submitted within 21 days to the Director General for inclusion in Part B of the National Child Protection Register as required by Regulations 42.